Welcome back. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. AFR Talk. Really good to be with you. Love the phone calls. Get on the Facebook and let me know. Let me know your best and worst of the week. And I'll actually make a special posting post-show, but it's very difficult to do it during the show because I'm looking at you in the camera. Kind of like Romper Room. Yeah, I see you. Or the NSA. It could be, right? Well, the NSA, big story in the Washington Post, but something that Seton has been covering a good deal of, and we're going to begin with that tonight for Seton to discuss the NSA surveillance. Have you changed your mind? Not yet, and still reviewing it. But is it troubling that there are errors in the system? Yeah, a lot of questions about that and the accountability and the possible need for reform. But somebody who's been doing yeoman's work on the NSA story certainly has been a man who knows all about communications and technology, and that is the president of Less Government, Seton Motley. And you just let me know when Seton is ready to go, okay? Brent? All right. Okay, he's ready? All right. Let's get to Seton. Seton, welcome.
You're the nicest staff in radio. That two different people apologized to me for accidentally hanging up. It was very nice of both of them.
They are the best, and I appreciate that because they have to work with me. They better be the absolute best. I mean, they have to have the patience of Job, really.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, buddy. Good work on the NSA program. You continue to produce it. I'm still not there yet, but I'm not going to debate with you on it.
How can you not be there yet after the Washington Post story
I will tell you,
yesterday?
I'm looking at the amount of errors. I'm not saying there doesn't need to be some form of a look at it, certainly. But with that, let us know the latest developments and also how you've been ahead of the game. Go ahead, my friend.
I thought I was debating Ryan Morrow this week. I was really looking forward to that.
Hey, we're working on that. Honestly, now I got to let the listeners know. Ryan absolutely will do it. I have dealing with trying to pack a show in and trying to get as much as I can in. So
it's just every week it's going to get worse and worse and worse for his position.
Well, if worse comes to worse next week, and I still not feel the same way, but I hold my position. I do. I'll debate you, and I'll make sure I won't do the classic talk over you, talk show host, moderator, President Obama, and the Democrats with the Obamacare summit. Okay, you go ahead though. Tell me about it.
Now, okay, we found out that there's been almost 3,000 quote-unquote errors just in the Washington, D.C. area NSA just in a year. Mm-hmm. Now, and one of those errors, it's not like one of those errors is one person. One error contains 3,000 innocent U.S. citizens collected. So, first of all, we're being look. Do you remember? Did your audience remember when James O'Keefe and Hannah Giles dressed up in costume and went into Acorn office after Acorn office after Acorn office, right?
Yes.
And busted up Acorn. Andrew Breitbart, the late great, slow-walked that so brilliantly. He'd release one video of one Acorn office, and the left and the media said, "Oh, it's just this one office. It's just this." And then he released another. But it's just those two. And then he released another. Well, it's just those three, and he just kept slowly trickling them out. Snowden is doing the exact same thing. It's the old
real quick on that one.
What?
On that one, on Snowden, are you comfortable with praising Snowden and putting him into the light of the late great Breitbart? Just an aside.
He's playing it like it. I don't know whose idea it was to slow walk it like this. Whether it was Greenwald's or his or whatever, but it's brilliant. And what he's doing is, we're back into Nixon territory. That previous statement is no longer operable. It's inoperable, that statement. Because he'll release something, the White House will say, well, it's that, but it's only that. And then he'll release something that's 15 times worse than that. Okay, it's that, but it's only that, says the administration. And then he releases something worse. I think I think I've used this analogy with you before. I think we're in the bottom of the first inning of a 9-inning baseball game with the amount of information Snowden has. And he is slow-walking the administration to death, and they haven't figured it out yet, and they keep shooting themselves in the foot.
When you look at the overall program, and you do have the likes of McCarthy and John Yoo and others who've defended the program, Mark Thiessen, tell me something. What are you for? What's the solution to it?
Well, the solution, I wrote a piece last week saying the solution was, if you want to go through all this data, you got to keep it in private hands. Mm-hmm. The Fourth Amendment problem arises when the government seizes 5 years' worth of our phone calls, emails, internet searches, etc., and warehouses them in places like that joint in Utah that's going to be 7 times larger than the Pentagon. The way to preempt the Fourth Amendment problem is, rather than taking it from the private companies, pay them to warehouse it. And then when you want something, if you've tracked a phone number from Yemen that's calling into the United States, you have to go get a warrant to ask the private companies to search their archives. The archivists find what they need. They then go with the government to another judge and get another warrant to turn that specific finite amount of data over that's actually pertinent to a case, rather than the government hoovering up everybody's information.
Interesting approach. I look forward to next week, one way or another. And because not only are you brilliant, you're great at debating, but I'm doing this. I'm just sitting there going, okay, just wait. I'll wait, because you have done great work, and I want to put the focus on that. You have been doing great work, and you continue to do it.
Do you feel the sand giving way under your feet?
It's not happening.
On the defense of this program.
There's some concerns, though. I want to check the foundation always. Hey, tell me, Seaton, with some of the things that have also taken place this week, I have to get to the clip because I'm mesmerized right now by what you have said. But the fact is, when you have Joe Scarborough talking to America and pointing out, giving Republicans advice. Joe Scarborough was a Republican, part of the Republican Revolution. I thought he was a really good guy. I think he's actually very smart. But I was thinking, why does a Morning Joe have Seaton on the panel? Because I would like your response to this. Cut number 9. Roll it.
The thing is, there are so many of these issues, so many of these social issues, so many of these racial issues. It doesn't cost you anything to be compassionate. It doesn't cost you anything to not whip up your base into a fury. It doesn't cost you anything to stay off of talk radio or to stay off of primetime cable news shows where you get in the middle of this divisive debate and you send a message to African Americans and other minorities that you really don't care. Hey, not only did we get slaughtered among African Americans, we got slaughtered among Hispanic Americans, and most, I think, frightening for Republicans, we even got beaten pretty badly among Asian Americans. The Republican Party right now is sending out signals.
And they're all
if you're not white,
right,
you're really not welcome in this party. And by the way, people are going to get mad at me for saying it. Look at the numbers from 2012. We could do things that don't cost us a lot. But we're not even doing it.
He referenced Trayvon Martin and showing expressions of sympathy toward Trayvon in the initial as it was developing. Your thoughts, Seaton, on Morning Joe?
Well, we just had the vote today at the RNC unanimously saying if CNN and NBC make the Hillary movies, they're out of the Republican primary debate process. He's overlooking the fact that the media frames everything in such a way, Trayvon Martin specifically. I mean, they kept showing his 13-year-old picture as if that was who got shot over and over and over again. NBC edited the audio of the 911 call to make Zimmerman look racist, and he volunteered. He looks black. Well, no, the actual poll tapes had the 911 person saying, what race is he? I don't know. He looks black. So when the Republicans, all the Republicans are doing is getting the facts out because the media is not. The media is lying. And by getting the facts out, then the media can point to them and say, see, they're racist, they're mean, et cetera, et cetera. Joe Scarborough has obviously been out of the fight way too long and doesn't remember what it's like. And he's been sitting in MSNBC waters for too long, steeping and stewing, and it's addled his brain because It is not fair to say we're sending out signals. The media is sending out signals. The Democrat Party, you had Harry Reid, real quick, Harry Reid today or this week say, I really hope the opposition to Obama isn't racist.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So I think Scarborough's a little addled.
And as you mentioned, Harry Reid and that statement, it really begs the question that can we go halfway in the approach of calling out the media? And it seems to me that you've been advocating for, no, stop apologizing for who we are, explain who we are and why we believe what we believe by pointing out the record. And that seems to be that what scares the establishment, which comes from Cruz and the likes of Rand Paul. Is that what we're seeing?
And the freak out to the concept of Rush Limbaugh moderating a debate, because more people would see how Rush Limbaugh actually is rather than how the media has been saying he is.
It's a good point. And again, that's the divide. It's oftentimes the characterization that so many people see, and then you ask them, have you ever listened? Have you ever,
Right.
And they go, no, I've never watched Fox News. Or no, one day, they say, I haven't listened to Crane Durham and Seton Motley talk about this. I haven't heard that. And
well, thank
I
you
just
very much for your informed opinion then.
Hey, Seton, well, sometime before Friday next week, we'll get it done, and it's great to be with you, my friend. Have a great
Always
one.
a pleasure. Thank you, Crane, and have a great weekend to all your audience and your great staffers.
Amen. All right. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth, American Family News, One News Now, top of the hour. On the flip side of that, we will speak with the Colonel. Yes, former Green Beret, Colonel Gordon Kakulu, and then the Gateway Pundit. All ahead. Crane Durham's Nothing But Truth. 8 F R. Why do you do that? Talk!